Okay, let's do it.
So let's call the meeting to order, April 15th, 2015. Cable board. And we don't have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting, so we can't approve last meeting's minutes, so we'll dispense with that part. It's not on the agenda, but we should probably have that on the agenda to approve the last.
I don't have last week's either.
That's all right, you don't need to, we'll just pass that up today.
I would like to take minutes.
Okay. So bring up to date the station and how things are going and what's happening and stuff like that.
So the problem that I have right now with the station is we're running Windows XP on everything. And Windows XP has ended. The support for it has ended. And this is from the Windows website, this piece of paper here. It just says in the past 12 years you've probably gotten a new phone, maybe a new TV, and possibly even a new car. And it continues on to say, we support our older operating systems much longer than most other businesses in this industry, but we can't keep supporting old operating systems and still move forward creating new and better products. We've been supporting Windows XP for the past 12 years. That's no longer than we've supported any other operating system in our history, and already 2 years longer than the standard 10 years of support we normally provide. It's time for us to look ahead so we can create better products and services for all of our customers. And then it says, if you keep using Windows XP unprotected, well, it's true that you can keep using your PC with Windows XP after support ends. We don't recommend it. For starters, it'll become 5 times more vulnerable to security risks and viruses, which means you could get hacked and have your personal information stolen. And that's kind of what they go on to. And then they said start using Windows 8.1. And I checked for the upgrade on our machines in the back, and they will not upgrade using this upgrade advisor. So some of the stuff won't upgrade to Windows 8.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Your hardware won't.
Chris, can you turn that down?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were just going to ask you, we're competing here.
Thank you, I was going to just mention.
Sorry. I had 2
So I
meetings
didn't
going
mean
on
to
at
interrupt.
once.
You don't want to get distracted by county business?
That meeting lasted 3 hours.
Wow.
3 hours.
Funny guy.
It was a long meeting. So yeah, so that's, I mean, both TriCasters are running Windows XP, the character generator is running Windows XP, and Cablecast is running Windows XP. And also there was an error that came up on the system. It has an incompatible QuickTime version, and that's why it won't play a lot of the formats that it said it would. But like this .mp4, that's what your phone records. So a lot of times if people bring something in off their phone or a small recording, it has to be divvied up to do MPEG-2, and the quality just goes down. But that's just another issue that it's having, and I can't update it because they don't have support for it anymore. So I'm able to keep doing it, but it becomes vulnerable to
Well,
things.
what would it entail updating everything,
I
cost-wise?
have the proposal from, do you know who Todd is? Todd Spatula?
Sure.
He sent a proposal over after I found out about this Windows XP thing, and it got pretty lengthy, but that's his proposal on updating everything and keeping it up to code and up to date and with everything like that.
Is there any way to upgrade the TriCasters with a new chip or something like that that would allow you to go up? Because the rest of the machine is fine, right? You're not having any trouble with the TriCasters, are you?
It's the operating system. The one TriCaster is goofing up the pictures on the big screens. I know one time when they came in to record, I had to stop, or I had to reschedule the recording because it
Just start pixelating?
it just totally drove itself out. Like I don't have a preview in a post, and now I just do it blind. So I know where the cameras are pointing and whatnot, and I record blind now.
That's wonderful.
So, but then the other TriCaster, it's hard to pull clips off there and use them in the new editing stuff. But then I do have a quote from Pete Mooney, the computer specialist for around the area, and he said about the whole Windows XP, doing a kind of cheaper version. He said he has a couple options with the XP. We've done two things with other clients running it. You either harden the OS using security hardware and lock down the OS, which is the operating system, or you replace it and move to a newer operating system. While it's true that you can keep using your server with Windows XP with no support / updates, we don't recommend it. For starters, it's 5 times more vulnerable to security risks and viruses, which means you could get hacked and have inappropriate content in public TV. We had an incident in 2013 with this, as your Tightrope software is basically a screensaver. And over time, the security and performance of your server will just continue to degrade, so things will only get worse. It doesn't help that the hardware it's running on is antique. Hope that helps. This is the other system I was telling you about, and then he gives a broadcast kind of software that's, I think, internet-based. But I haven't looked into his other thing like that. But that's from Pete Mooney of the Source Computing, and he does all the computer work around here.
Have they put together a dollar figure, even an estimate on what it's gonna cost?
Yep, this is the new Tightrope system. That's kind of what Todd wrote up and handed to me. So, and it goes over all the information.
What's the bottom line on it? That's all
I
I'm concerned.
believe it was 37
Okay.
for overall upgrade of character generator
And that would
cablecast.
put you
That would put us.
back in business.
That would put us totally up to code, and it'd be.
Okay.
It also gives options of sharing between, safe sharing between other PEG access channels. So they say we have a really good show that we created. They'd be like, can we get that? And then they'd have access to it right from there. So, and it would give us also a good option to just pull in the recordings of all the other, like the school stuff. I mean, if they ever went down, then we could just switch over and they could go through us for,
Now,
say, they have that.
this still isn't dealing with the digital issue, is it?
Yep, it is.
Okay.
It'll do HD and analog.
What about your cameras?
The cameras will be able to run right in there, so we won't be able to, or I mean, we will be able to keep using those. So that's kind of what the school is doing too. They're
Okay.
using the old the GXLs 2s and just running in there. But we will have the option to do like high def cameras if they came in.
Do you have a source for that money?
No.
Do you have
So,
your
that's-
normal?
That's what I'm still new to the whole money part of this, but I'm just getting the paperwork up and making sure that we have all the other stuff
Don't
lined
you
up.
have an
and ready to go.
account that you draw out of?
It'd be probably Great River Arts.
Oh,
So-
are they doing the accounting on this? Would they would have to make the proposal
Yep.
then to the council?
Yep.
And the council would say, well, you've got money here and money there, and you have PEG money coming in, and you know, the normal dollars that are available from charter. So,
Yep. And then, and Ron gets back just at the beginning, I think tomorrow.
when do you think you have to have this upgrading done? Do you have a time schedule in mind?
Right now I'm getting by doing it, so
Okay.
I mean I can
You
keep
can
on
limp
put-
along.
Yep, I can put the Band-Aid on it for a while.
Okay, and
Um,
what would you shoot for your final date sometime this summer? That you would like to
Summer
get all this
or before next year.
done? Okay,
I mean, that would be ideal,
okay.
because I can continue just to keep doing this, and I've already made it look better and stuff like that.
Good.
I would just probably do a networking thing where we wouldn't have internet issues.
Sure.
So, and I feel like a better firewall.
Okay, yeah, all right.
So,
And this is a pretty hard and fast proposal that you got from Todd.
yep.
All right.
So,
are you
and
going to,
that's kind of like
are you going to get another bid then? I would advise
Oh,
you to
yeah,
do something
yeah.
like that.
I just told them to, see what equipment, that I said,
Sure.
just give me something that's, basically, originally what I said is, can you just give me a folder that has all this equipment in it and
Yeah.
do this? And he wrote up the proposal, and I said, well, that's a start, and now it's just kind of,
Now, you're going to have to
Going down.
refine that
Yep,
to make it fit
yep,
our
definitely.
situation.
and I said, we might not need all of that stuff, because he put in a lot of we're not doing replays of everything like that and stuff. The Black Magic kit,
Okay.
we're not doing a lot of that. So that's one thing that
So we could glean that a little bit, cull that
Yep.
down to
Yep.
something that'd be little more appropriate.
Yep.
We do realize that sometime
Yeah.
we're gonna have to deal with charter, aren't we,
Mhm.
for this new contract? Yeah, when is that?
Well,
May 24th.
we've got that in our
Okay, oh, okay, all right,
agenda, so.
okay.
We can talk about
So
that.
that'll be also, the money will depend a lot on
Yep.
what kind of a package we can.
But
get out.
I wanted to, get it out there,
Yes,
get it real,
absolutely.
and just say the dilemma, because, I mean, it's been sitting that, and it's been sitting that way for a couple of years to where this hasn't been supported, but, now that I've dealing with it more and more, it's almost like they're making it so that my open wound is getting bigger and bigger,
Sure.
and these guys are trying to weed out all Windows XP, but so far, I'm doing it, it's all there, but I just wanted to show that it's, this is kind of the route that it needs to go, and, what we're facing.
Well, since you said we can Band-Aid this thing till at least this summer,
Mhm.
next year at the latest, and we do have the charter deal coming up, the contract, maybe we should just not have any motions on this or anything? Just wait till our next meeting,
That'd be fine.
and then we would have a little better understanding on where we are as far as dollars available.
Yep, and I can research more on, getting smaller bids, and like I said,
Yes.
this wasn't supposed to be a bid per
Right.
se, it was just supposed to be equipment, but, I mean, it gives you an idea of what we're looking at
Sure.
to spend, and I doubt it's gonna be that much. I think he just sent it because right now, Tightrope was giving a discount, $1,500 discount for old Tightrope users. So, and then he said, well, they'd buy back systems, and I said, they'd buy back this system, and he kind of, well, I don't know if they'd buy back that
No,
system.
come
And I was
on.
like, well, you can't offer it to me and
Yeah,
then,
right.
say it.
Dangle it out there.
So, but then it was good to hear Pete, his words on it too, just, because he gave me an alternative that I can go look at.
Sure.
So that's nice to know, and then, because I had Pete come in and look at it, just the security and the internet issue, because Great River Arts and me are separate. So, because one thing I was worried is then if anybody was going to tamper with it coming through this and going
Oh,
to their
okay,
stuff.
as
and-
far as your computer systems
Yep,
go,
yep.
right.
So I'm a separate network than
Right,
them. So
Right, okay. All right, so they couldn't, if they hacked one, they weren't gonna get in
yep,
both.
they're not going to get into the other one.
So the next meeting, you're gonna come prepared with a little more information?
Yep.
Putting a proposal together on how you can fix this?
Yep, fix it.
And get it up to date and
So-
running properly for yourself, okay?
But like I said, now I'm for the equipment that's here and what I have. I feel that I'm pushing it.
Jersey's kinda doing the same thing up at the school?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So, but yeah, that's where we're sitting. And the good thing about when you get the new equipment, though, stuff can be produced faster. It'll be just everything is really quick. Because right now I'm doing 4 or 5 different processes to get a DVD onto digital or whatever that it is. So.
Mr. President, may I ask a question of Chris?
What's that?
May I ask a question of Chris?
On this,
Yeah, on that subject, yes. Do you have a plan what would happen if you got hacked? Would the station have to shut down then, or what?
I would just run the character generator, lock it down. So,
Oh,
I mean, it wouldn't be it. Right now, we're still safe wise. This is kind of a little what if. It's just easier to hack Windows XP than it.
would
is
it
to
wreck
do-
the machinery, the equipment, if they hacked?
It wouldn't wreck the machinery unless they. I mean, they put a virus in it, but I don't know why anybody would want to.
You have no critical data.
No
Or
critical data.
No financial stuff,
No,
anything
no,
like that.
no
The
financial
only thing
stuff.
you're looking at is, let's not let somebody dump something
Exactly.
inappropriate onto our system.
It's kind of like having a live camera, and everybody knows where a live camera is, so they'll do something stupid on it.
Yep,
It's kind of like one of those things. Or back in the day when the people were hacking the signs on the side of the road to say funny things. I mean, that's the only thing that I really worry about on something like that.
Let's say something happens, how fast can you pull the plug? I mean, somebody'd have to
Instant.
call you, I mean, can you do it remotely?
Yep, instant.
Okay,
But you'd have to be notified.
right.
I'd have to be
See,
notified.
now, most of us periodically check in and watch it, and if something were to go wrong, we'd let you know.
And I check it pretty regular just because I still get a little bit nervous that a show is not going to go.
Yeah.
And Robin's actually been really good about letting me know that too. So,
Good.
I mean, stuff like that is real quick. It's
More
nice.
watchers,
It's
the
nice
better.
when that happens because I know who's watching. Otherwise I don't know. I don't hear from anybody. But it's kind of funny like that. But it's the plug can go quick.
Okay.
Okay, anything else that you need to
That was
bring up about the station?
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, then let's go on to the next update on the school. Already got a copy of the printed sheet from Mark Deal, and talking about Little Falls Community Schools TV accomplishments in the last 6 months. And that the, let's see here, they completely make over the control room and broadcast studio for high-def equipment. And has better lighting in there. It's got LED lighting now. And they've developed multiple broadcast solutions to do remote broadcasts and have them streamed live on the web. And mostly, a lot of that's done with Cube. You ever seen Cube? That's something that you can get and watch live programs from the schools as they're happening. Then they're also taping stuff like the school board meeting, so it's on a tape delay type thing. And you notice they're also working with AVS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's this fellow that you were just talking about. Right?
Yep. Yep, that would be the.
And they're working with Charter then to improve the picture because they had some problems with the bouncing.
They've always had that.
Yeah.
They've had that for years. It's some overdrive between here and there. And it's just been a nightmare for 10 years.
That's how things are filtered down.
Yeah.
So there's a chink in the arm or something.
There certainly is, and no one can find it.
Okay, and now they've created a web-based public viewable program scheduling. And I don't know what this green screen stuff is all about. Do you know anything about
Yeah,
that?
that's
Green
like
screen
a
would
green
be.
mat, on the wall.
Yep, like say they wanted to put you in New York, but you're in Little Falls.
Yeah,
They'll put you in New York.
you stand in front of a
Yep.
green screen and then they broadcast
So it
New
looks
York
like-
on the behind you and it looks like you're standing. Or you've seen
Oh,
the weather people, when they
Just
do
like
the
the
weather
weather guys.
people.
Yep.
Weather people do
We
green screen.
we have
We
one
have
in
a
the
green
studio,
mat here. I painted that thing years ago for you.
if you want to see. Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah,
used for.
yeah.
Is just it puts.
Right. When the weatherman points to the temperature
Yep.
or the clouds or whatever,
He's
he doesn't
looking at a
see
monitor
anything
over
there. Yeah,
here.
he's looking
Yeah,
ahead.
Yep.
He see where
and he
his
points
finger
up
is.
here. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's nothing back there.
Yeah,
Looks
Green screen.
Yeah.
okay.
And green doesn't show up. See, it's a zero mat. There's nothing there. Now tell me something. Being the authority and being on the school board now, is the school financing all of these new expenditures and improvements, or who's footing the bill for all of that equipment and
Some of
everything?
it. Otherwise, it's coming from the money they're getting from peg fees. And
Okay, are you guys splitting that down the middle then? Are we splitting that, or how the heck's that working?
There's as far as I know, it's when they got theirs separate and we got ours separate.
But-
so.
That's
I don't know the breakdown as far
okay,
as percentage.
but the separate that you get is what we're going to be using to buy all this new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got
most
to figure out
likely-
what that is. Somebody has to know somewhere. Somebody's going to be accountable for that. And it must be Great River Arts. Are they doing the accounting for this? The money
Yep,
goes into
because
them,
they
and you don't know
purchased
particularly
it
yourself.
for when when Jerry left.
Yeah, the city, whoever they send their checks to, they send a monthly check to GRA.
Okay, well, there should be an account that's available to you so you know what's going on.
So
Find
that would
out,
be one, yeah,
another thing to do by next meeting.
Yep.
So we know how much money we got, or you've got.
Yep.
We don't wanna have to go beat the council up for some more dollars if we don't have to.
Well, and I'll be getting an education as we approach May 24th here too.
Yes, yeah.
that's the charter meeting, correct?
I haven't, is there anything set up, who's gonna be doing the negotiating?
But I don't know, but I haven't seen anything.
That's a lawyer from Minneapolis that did ours last time.
Yeah, that's been 5 years ago, right?
10 years.
10 years, has it been 10? Oh, man.
It's a
Wow.
10-year agreement.
Yeah, and I know what they've wanted to do is standardize all of their agreements, charter, so they can have a standardized contract.
Well, charter.
And that's impossible because everybody
Well,
has.
before this comes up, one thing I'll research is, I know, just reading the St. Cloud Times, they were in some pretty contentious battles with them
Yes,
down
they
there.
were.
And
Yes, they
And
were.
I'm not sure how it all worked out, and I'll go back and review the articles and see what happened. I mean, they wanted to, I think there was talk that they wanted to cancel the contract when they changed their station
They
numbers.
said
Yeah,
you've broken the contract.
we're getting off the agenda a little bit here. We'll get that down here and talk more about it when we get down to the franchise agreement, so. And if you notice on the high school thing, the future planning for broadcasting baseball games, softball games, prom, grand march, baccalaureate, Kiwanis awards, and all those different award ceremonies that happen in the spring, they'll all be taped.
And they have a big group of kids in running this.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Okay,
So,
good.
I watched a couple of the sporting events that they had at the high school, girls basketball games, and they do a good job of presenting those. And I think it's a 3-camera shoot. So they got 3 cameras going on.
Has it been broadcast on their channel at all? Or just on the internet?
I just watch it on Cube. I don't get charter. So
Okay.
I don't know what charter's got. So anyway, this is a report from Mark Deal. Anybody have any questions about it or anything? Doesn't say how many hours a day they're programming things and putting stuff on, so I don't know how many hours, what time are they on, and anything like that, so.
No, tell me something, and I couldn't quite, since we've split the system into 2 groups, Channel 6, Channel 12, educational, public, okay? We're still sitting kind of interacting with you on the control of this. We have nothing to do with the 12, with the
Just that we're
school.
getting reports from it, and if we want to make some.
If we have input, do we ever meet with these people for any?
Well, they're supposed to have been here today, but they couldn't make it. You know, it's harder for them to make it during the day than it is after school in the early evening.
Okay.
So we just got a report of what's going on, and
Okay.
that's where our involvement is.
Okay.
If we have any more questions, I suppose we could call Dave Gertz or Mark.
Okay.
Or ask me, and I'll find out.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is if they plan on doing some upgrading or anything like that, they don't have to talk to us at all to do this, obviously.
No, they're.
They do their own,
Yeah.
where Chris is involving us in this process of upgrading.
See, all the upgrade cameras and the stuff that they got up there is being purchased by the school district, so the school district owns it.
Okay,
Whereas the GRA stuff,
all right. This
it's
is,
not all being purchased with GRA money,
No,
it's
that's
purchased with some of the city monies.
and city
So
owns
the
that.
city owns
Okay. Now, what about the PEG money that goes to the city, or that goes to the school? That's purchasing what? Or is that paying for salaries?
That's probably paying for salaries.
So that's, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay. No, hearing no other questions on this school one? Then we'll bring it up to the next one, programming. Chris, you got something on programming? Or-
Just kind of where we're sitting at. I found a lot of the old programming that used to be on there, and I kind of went through it. I was watching the Mayor's Forum, the old Mayor's Forum, and because I would like to get that back on there, but I'm trying to work with Greg to get it back up on there. So I'm seeing what he wants to do. He had talked about it earlier, like last month, about talking about the community and when that kid got hit crossing the road, doing that and doing it with the police officers and everything. But just looking back at how they used to do it, looks like they pulled somebody in and they talked about a community member, and then with what would be Greg there now. So that's one thing that I want to pull in back in is the Mayor's Forum, and then the legislative branch talk at the city council chambers. I would like to get that back up on there. And then I want to get more public stuff in because I think that'd be, really good. And I just talked to Thor, and he's rebuilding that boat, so I'm gonna try to work with him to get some of that more hobby stuff that people are doing around Little Falls, and do that. And then just the regular program, Robin's show is on there, city council meetings, Morrison council meetings. And then I just last week had a call from Morrison County, the Public Works, and he, I don't remember if it was Kurt or who it was, but he brought up a really good idea to inform the community on what roads are closed, sort of, and everything like that. So that's one thing that we're looking at doing for programming, adding that section, and then also we have your county government show. I have my exercise show in the morning. And then I found the baby blue arts stuff, so we'll have music in the morning now. So a lot of the old programming, I'm bringing back the stuff that I think is not so old to where it's kind of boring to watch, but it's fun to see, more educational stuff. And then I also joined up with PegAccess.org, and they have PEG material that you can put on your channel. And I thought that would be kind of cool. I want to get a lot more programming versus I want to weigh out the character generator to where it's more programming around here and stuff like that versus the character generator always kind of taking over. But the character generator is great. It's actually getting more use. Now it's almost daily that people are sending things in, which is great. And especially around Easter time, it kind of took off. And then all the churches are
with information bulletin board.
Yep.
It's people that knows. Good place
So-
to look.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting at with all that. There's going to be a new cooking show episode, ran just to some complications with that, but I'm over that. It's now in the editing phase, so expect a new one of those, and then don't expect one for a while because I think Charlie's golfing. So, but that's where we're at. I'm trying to get. I've been going around. There's talent shows. This is kind of the season where all the kids at the private schools are, doing their talent shows and everything like that. So basically, what I want to try to do is get what the school's not getting of the fun stuff that's going around. Kind of thing.
Good.
Ripley Reporter's still on, and I think I'm going to do some stuff with the. I think they have a turkey hunt that's going on that I'm going to record. So with a disabled vet, go on that if I can sit still long enough. But,
Very important.
so that's the programming, and it's like I said, it's always adding more. I want more, and I'm getting faster at the editing and putting it on air. So we're going to have a lot more.
Good.
Any progress I had jotted down from the last meeting about a sports show?
I contacted him, and I had the studio ready, and he never showed up, and I can't get a hold of him again. So
Who's that to?
it was the guy that runs He manages over at the State Farm, close to that China restaurant. Gosh, his name's slipped. I have his email and his contact info, but I think his name was Eric, maybe. But yeah, I came in, or I had it all set up, and I just haven't heard back from him since then. So I just haven't pushed on it. I'm just gonna see if I can find somebody.
So you were ready to do a sports show?
Yep.
Okay.
I was ready to do it.
So there's no Hennenkamp and those guys aren't doing it anymore. Paulie and Franzak, and they'd always do the
Right.
baseball
If they wanted to do it again, I would love to. I would even love to do it in a way that I brought the TriCaster out, hooked it up to power, whether the power be off my truck, and actually had those guys broadcast the baseball game or a local baseball game, act like it's a real game, and then bring it in and just play it later. So since I don't do anything live here, no delay.
Rams hired Paulie Franzak to do the game of the week in the Victory League each Sunday now.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be something if they were in town here or locally.
So I caught that a couple times, or that show, those guys just aren't interested in doing it anymore?
I didn't know who did the sports show.
Ron Hennenkamp kind of headed it up.
Okay.
And it was kind of his show, and then you had Gary Block and Paulie Franzak, and then they'd get a bunch of the
Brad
locals, minor celebrities, Piers Boys and Shabluski here and so-and-so there and a Poser and whoever they could get that had some expertise in the area, and then they'd talk about all of the sports. Everyone would get a little, the Vikings would get a shot, and then the day went like that, and everybody was an expert. But it was entertaining.
Yeah, if I can get a hold of Ron.
He's back. He was on vacation. Ron Hennenkamp is his name. You could just
Now would be the time, just because the
see if
Twins
he's
are.
interested in putting it together.
It'd be good to talk about the Twins right now too. Especially it's just starting up, and then any other
Well, that
sports that's going
season's
on.
already about over.
Yeah, as 1-6, but we can
We'll
talk
have to
about what they
the
can do next
Packers.
year.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's where with the sports show I had it all. I had the slides in and ready to go, and I said
Oh, that's too
show
bad.
up at 2, and
Did you ever get back to him to say what happened, or he never contacted you?
never.
Just
We had
died.
kind of like gone back and forth, and
Oh, that's too bad.
he got busy, and I wouldn't hear back for a couple days, and then I'm sure I left 1 or 2 couple days. But then I thought we were all good to go, and
Had he given you the impression that it was going to be a group, not just himself?
yeah, it kind of sounded like that. Like he had some interviews to do,
Okay.
and then I sent him an email after the fact that he didn't show up. I just said I didn't say anything derogatory because I just got a couple extra hours of editing, and that's fine. But I just sent him an email back saying could we try for another time, and I didn't hear anything back. So I'm willing to give him
I
another
would think
shot.
we'd be able to find a couple people that have a local interest in
Doing
local
it.
sports that would be willing to sit down.
And would
Once a
want
week.
to get in front of a TV camera and expound their information and expertise.
It's real easy the way that I have it set up too. If you find somebody to do the sports, I make sure that it's all set up beforehand, and the cameras are ready to go, and then I just need to white balance them and aim them, and I can literally
With the
get.
cameras, you can catch 2 on here and 2 over there.
Yep.
And then a wide shot. And
Yep, yeah, and that's exactly.
that's the way we had set up before. I used to run 1 camera in there, and then I'd catch each one of the guys, and the other 2 cameras were stationary. And
Yep, and I actually have it hooked up now to where I have 6 inputs, so I could
Wow.
have a lot
Yes. You
lot
could.
going on. That's why I love the TriCaster sitting in there.
I might be able to
Put
provide
a Go cam
a
on
name for you
everybody's.
too, but I'll wait
Okay.
until I check with this person.
No, that's perfect.
Doing volunteering.
Yeah, I would love to just have as many local people on there.
Get 6 experts and put a Go cam on everybody's head, and
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
Your brother-in-law.
they all look at each other. So yeah.
Okay, what do you got on the studio that you want to bring up here?
Oh, I'm just keeping up to date on the studio. I'm just gonna add a curtain, and I'm pulling in lighting from the theater I work at just to add more oomph to it to get
Okay.
it up and going. And I paint it at least, if not once a month, twice a month, so that white floor is just an amazing big collector.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's working out great. I just want to keep an update on it.
Okay.
Everything like that.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about franchise agreement. Paul Voigt, is that his name, the lawyer?
I don't know, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't know.
Dan's been communicating with him for the last 7 or 8 months, 9 months. They've emailed back and forth and stuff like that. And he does about 9 different communities. And since Charter kind of put they're really not a charter anymore, they're
Spectrum.
Spectrum. And so I'm sure that they're gonna be negotiating something with Spectrum. And
Yeah, it's due May 24th,
Yeah.
so.
I haven't heard anything from Dan about what's happening.
So obviously, we're not gonna be involved in these negotiations the way it sounds.
Well, I was at a couple meetings with him. One was a phone meeting,
Okay.
and it sounded like they were trying to, had a hard time communicating with Charter. But they did get some communication done, and they were changing all this into the Spectrum stuff, and so, they're kind of doing behind the scenes stuff, I think, a little bit. So.
Has Dan seen a copy of the proposed contract at all? I mean, you would think by this stage of the game.
I think, here's my recommendation. Let me check with Dan on how this process is
Yeah,
going to work.
be interesting.
Okay, and I think it would be my recommendation before we finalize anything on that franchise agreement that we call a special meeting when we know some details, because I can't see, we're not gonna have another meeting until July.
Right?
I'm looking at this, you know, what's the point in you guys investing your time if you have no input as to how the new franchise agreement works?
We don't have any input anyway.
Well, you can make all the recommendations you want.
We can advise,
Well,
that's
yeah.
all we are, as an advisory committee. We listen, we
I mean,
talk.
if you're not interested in that,
Oh.
fine, tell me, but I mean, it'd be something I'm willing to come to another meeting, but I'll have to get some details from Dan on how the process works
Sure.
with the franchise agreement and,
Yeah, that's what we need to do is
you know,
get something.
if there is
from
some
Dan.
sort of proposal
Or
or
if there's an
draft
open door
proposal,
informational.
at least
meeting,
get a
let us
copy
know.
to you guys and then decide if it's
Yeah.
something you wanna do a special meeting on, tweak here and there.
Yeah, let's see here.
But if it's a foregone conclusion, that's fine too. The less mucking around in the mud we do, maybe it could be a smooth transition from, and I don't know if it's gonna be another 10-year deal or what they were talking about, but I know they did, after reading the paper, like I get the St. Cloud paper every day, and there was certainly a lot of information that was going on behind the
Like I
scenes.
said, I have to go back and
Yeah.
reread them, but it sounded like they were close to get out of town.
Yeah.
We'll go a different direction.
And I think their main contention was changing the position on the dial on the programs. Yeah. I don't know why that was that important, but obviously it
Well,
must have been.
I don't know. Being fair,
Yeah.
I think they raised a valid point. I watched a lot more local programming when it was on 6 and 12, and
Yes.
you come across it
Yes.
surfing through channels.
Yes.
Now I have to make it a point to go out and find it.
Exactly, exactly, yeah. So
And that's
they-
what St. Cloud's fighting for that back.
And I think
And
they
they have-
resolved it in one.
They
manner.
did settle it, but I never did hear or see anything on the final agreement, you know, how it was resolved, what they did to come to an agreement. So it ought to be interesting. Maybe it'd be worth talking to somebody down there on their negotiating committee.
Okay, I think the last thing that we've got, or you and I both have probably got, was that letter from Wendy Zoka talking about the renewal date is May 24th, and Charter and our franchise attorney have spoken, and she's not sure where they are in the process. And Dan was supposed to have given you a call, and the original franchise agreement is 35 pages. Did you get a copy of that?
I did not, I wasn't gonna have her send 35 pages.
Okay.
And at this juncture, I'm sure something, I would hope something is in the draft stage, being this close to May 24th.
Yeah. Okay. So Dan has been in contact with a charter gal named Brenda Osborne, and she's writing on behalf of Leanne Herrera, which is another charter person, and she sent him some information. I don't know if I can get it up on here or not.
So somebody's up to speed on it anyway,
Yeah,
so that's good.
so they're working on it.
Good.
It's just this behind the scenes stuff that Paul, that attorney that does that for us. So. All right, but anyway, some stuff is happening, but you know how that, and it might take 9 months to work out a deal, something like that, you never know.
We'd have a tentative working agreement with them, and
So,
a contract,
yeah.
continuation.
Okay, then let's go on to MACTA.
Oh, I called MACTA just to see what because they kept on sending the renewal form. And because you guys, all your guys' names are on it. And I just took it off, took Jerry's name off, put mine, and then also Boyum's, and I put yours on there for the MACTA agreement. I haven't sent money to get it paid, but we're in the 2,500 to 6,000 subscribers. So, and I was just probably going to renew that if that's...
What do they charge on that?
For us, it is $550.
What are we getting from that?
This is basically the layout is basically they PEG workshops, discounted rates when attending the annual conference. I mean, here's a list. Do you just want me to read them off? Or?
You might as well.
Okay.
Because if we're not getting anything from
Yep.
other workshops that nobody goes to,
And this is, I mean, I just started looking at these, and there's also another place that does workshops like this, so I don't know if this would even be beneficial, and that's why I didn't go through with it at all, doing it. But being part of the local, state, and national network of professionals in the cable, television, broadband, telecommunications fields, having access to a coalition that works to promote and protect local, public, educational, and governmental programming in partnership with NATO and the LMSC, Appliance for the Community Media, ACM, and others, discounted rates when attending the annual conference, stay at the Capitol, legislative luncheon, PEG workshops, and other educational events, lobbying activities, action alerts, and efforts of MACTA's legislative committee to address legislative, regulatory, and legal items of interest and concern, promotion of the value of PEG access programming, as well as continually sharing methods to improve its quality, and a newly redesigned website featuring franchise agreement samples, the ability to showcase your best videos, document and presentation, archives, events listings, news and opportunities in a members-only section designed to give you the inside track, and then last, opportunities to share ideas about programming and other operations with colleagues.
It's kind of like we're paying them to lobby the legislator to make sure
because
that,
you're worth $500.
is it worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not going to be
it would
worth
be-
it
you use this?
to you, but it may be worth it to
It's
you.
worth it to me. It'd probably be worth it to me. The one huge thing I saw was just because of the franchise agreement, but we're already so close that, I mean, I don't know if it's going to benefit us to go through MACTA.
Yeah, that kind of perked my ears, but I don't.
Yeah, it's
but it
too,
doesn't
it's
sound
too
like
close.
No, they haven't jumped up
Yeah.
to say, hey, I
It-
hear you guys are ready,
exactly.
we're coming to help.
But I mean, you know, I went on their website and it's like, going to the annual conference. I don't.
That's in
Jerry used,
Vegas.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
MACTA is Minnesota,
Bloomington.
but then the national one
Okay, the
is-
national one,
Yeah.
yeah, is in Vegas. In fact, he's out there right now, Jerry, as we speak.
Is it?
Yeah, but that's for that,
That's, yeah,
consumer.
that's the consumer show, yeah, he's out for that one right now.
But
But if you
Jerry
can
used to be-
find and justify $500 out of your pocket, in other words, your budget here,
Yep.
then fine.
And it's something I've been fighting with to go over with. And I when I called and heard that all your guys' names was on it too, I just wanted to make sure that.
We used to
you know,
get a
if it's-
mailing all the time,
Yep.
remember that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen one for a while.
And I've been getting them, but it could be because I haven't renewed this.
Okay, all right,
I do like the access to paid programming,
okay.
but a lot of the paid access, like that website I just went on to now, if I did want some of their programming, it's like 86 cents for an episode, or 4 episodes. So
That
it
won't
wasn't
break
like
the bank, will it?
yeah, it wasn't like a you know, and there wasn't a lot of good stuff on there. There was one guy that decided to do gymnastics in his front yard for 5 days. So it's some of that stuff. So I thought, nah. So I don't know if they have anything better, but if it was more about the education on PEG access channels and the programming, I really like the franchise agreement, getting to know more about that, because that's new to me also. But is it something that, I mean, that we're coming up on our franchise agreement and, you know, we're not going to
Post haste.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be directly involved in it.
Yeah, so I mean, is it worth it, or
I would
If this-
I would give Jared Abraham a call and ask him if he thinks it's worth continuing on there, if you're not going to be active in the MACTA process down at going to the convention and stuff, and, you know, being part of the,
I like the networking part of it, but I mean, we're still getting only discounted rates. It's not like that 550 saying, yeah, come and enjoy this. You know, and meet all these people. You know, you're still paying more. So discounted rates. I don't know. But you know, I think there's other things to do besides MACTA that we can benefit from, and one is this suburban thing that said, I just called him today and I said, hey, I noticed you had some PEG access channel classes. How much do you cost for those? Oh, $10.
Okay.
And if you can't make it, we'll schedule a time that you can. So it's like, you know,
They're making it convenient for you.
yeah, and they're in, I think they're in Bloomington, and so that'd be, you know, go there for 2 hours for $10 a training, you know, or, you know, and they do a lot of the same stuff. So this never was appealing to me every time that they sent it, and I even called the lady and asked her when I, you know, tried to figure out how many subscribers we had, and I'm like, well, what can you really give to us about this? And I didn't get a, you know, this is what we do. I got
They
a,
really do a
Well-
lot, but they do a lot in the cities.
Yeah.
I know the city schools utilize this concept
well, they're
for
so
getting
close together.
right,
down there.
and
Yeah.
that's what they did. Outstate, we don't get much benefit. So
exactly.
if you can't see $500 of justification, then just ash can it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because we could use that somewhere else. I
Yep.
think. I mean, I like putting it. I would like to put it towards the studio because we have people that public come in and use the studio, and that's beneficial for, you know, those people.
Do you want us to make a motion on that, or are you just happy, are we just happy to let this go the way it is? You make your decision, then you're done with it. It's an expenditure of his.
You wanna make a motion, as far as,
Dropping our membership? Or not renewing our
Not
membership?
renewing.
not renewing?
Okay, I move that we don't renew our membership in MACTA.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion on that, is that, if you feel that,
Yeah,
Hey,
if you wanna wait on this, we can
Well,
wait
no,
another meeting.
I've gotten this far without it. You know, I already
Fine.
knew they were there.
Fine.
So
Gives me something else to studio.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've already found another place that can do that.
$500
And
in your
I don't
pocket.
need to go to Vegas and have a rip roaring good time, I guess. So as much as I want to, I just
The reality is it would be cheaper to just buy you a plane ticket.
yeah. Then get
You are
a
gonna
discounted.
have to- Yeah, it's not
discounted.
much of a discount, by the way, as I remember.
No, that's kind of the way I was looking at it, and I wanted to, being as you guys had knew Jerry was on it and everything like that, give me a little insight. And if you haven't heard that it's helped us any, then
Well, I had gone to a couple of
probably-
MACTA meetings down in the Twin Cities a few years back, and for the last 5 years, I had
nothing.
nothing to do. And Jerry was an officer in MACTA at one time. And,
Then he got
but
going.
he was active because the guy down in Wilmer and
Right.
St. Cloud and
That's his buddy,
And
what's
the
his
guy in
name? I
Brainerd.
can't think of his name, the guy in Wilmer.
yeah,
They're out in Vegas together right now,
yeah,
show.
yeah.
But anyhow, he tried to get a local consortium or group together of the local guys, and it was operating
Well,
pretty well for a while.
they met a couple times a year.
Yes, yeah, and they'd meet here all the time. It was Central, and kids from Duluth and Brainerd and Wilmer and all the other places would come in. And
I've talked to those guys. I've actually been trying to
you
get
can
that.
get it going
get it
again.
back together.
All what they need is a stimulus and a place to meet.
Mhm.
And if you say, "Come here," and I'll
I
provide
got
the cookies,
cookies. I got cookies.
yeah, you'll probably get some of the guys coming, and you can discuss local stuff, things
Yep,
that are
that's-
pertinent to
Yep.
outstate people,
That's-
small organizations like ours.
That's exactly what I'd like to hear, to just not have.
Rudy,
Yes.
that's his name, yeah. Rudy.
So, because this has been hanging on my wall for
Okay.
a while now.
Okay.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Gary, you wanna write that down? So you have it in the minutes?
So moved. So if somebody says, "Why aren't you?" You say, "Well, that crazy board of mine just
Yeah.
took it away from me."
Okay, the next meeting is in July, third Wednesday.
15th, I believe, is the third Wednesday.
Oh man, that's a good day, July 15th. It's my birthday.
Oh, 1 o'clock?
Well, we'll have a cake. 1 o'clock, yep.
Okay.
And I gotta
And
change
then,
that,
and then when you get some minutes written up and stuff like that,
save it for the next.
well, you can send them to us a couple weeks before, so we can just look them over and approve.
Then we can
What
watch
happened in this
down
meeting.
here and everybody's read them and
Yeah.
we'll just approve them.
Yeah.
And I sent Wendy an email about the last one, or the change on this date, and then I also sent her a change on July 15th. And then, because I know one of Mark's things was, if he wanted you guys to, if he wanted to be here, he's got to know more in advance than 2 weeks or a week. And I was like, well, taking over a TV station, I would have thought that you'd have known to meet quarterly. It's so. So he said, so they weren't even going to make the April 22nd one, as it sounded. So I don't know, and I don't even know if they'll make the July 15th one. Nobody will be in school. Or
Yeah, but some of those texts work all summer long.
okay. So I'll
That's when
send.
they get their work done.
I'll send him an email today saying that it's changed to July 15th. It should be changed in the one coming up, because I sent Wendy along with the other one about that. So,
Okay, that should be it then.
Yep.
And if anything does come up on our franchise agreement
I'll send them an email today, yeah.
and somebody has to
Yeah.
represent the board here.
and if you
Dan,
hear anybody about the
Did you
sports
get
show,
emails from Dan at all?
Nothing.
Okay. Because Dan could send us all an email indicating what progress has been.
There was a
made.
time when I was getting something, Wendy would, circulate it around. I'd get a letter once in a while, an update on one thing or another, but that was mainly on getting us established here with Chris, but I haven't seen anything lately.
Okay. All right,
It is what it is.
I move we adjourn.
take some cookies with you. I got enough for cookies.
Meeting's adjourned.
And
The
take that.
meeting's adjourned.
Take
Thanks, sir. Thank everybody for being here. Yeah,
Put the
they're
cookies in that.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions on that, you can call me.
Did Chris provide the treats?
Huh?
I
Did
guess.
Chris provide them?
You must
Yeah, Chris provided all
Well, that was nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some